I have something that I need to confess before I rip this Mandalorian Season 2 finale into shreds. I am a Star Wars shill. I buy the Lego. I got the posters. I got this commemorative VHS thing for the Phantom Menace. I'm not sure if that loses or gains my credibility when talking about this episode, but whatever. First off, I really enjoy The Mandalorian. It's a fun, simple show with great world building, and it knows exactly what Star Wars should be until it doesn't. I'll get into that, but Season 1 was a simply tremendous kicking off point. Had mostly light, fun adventures for us just to get to know these characters and to really sympathize with Mando. Season 2 builds on this by bringing in characters that we already know, but in a more organic way than, say, The Rise of Skywalker or Rogue One. Still character building involved in this season, but it's about more world building and pushing our main protagonist. I actually think it's a perfect follow-up to the first season for about the first 7 episodes, especially the penultimate episode, which has a fantastic lead into the finale with Din using the same speech that Moff Gideon used in Season 1.
You have something I want. Soon, he will be back with me. He means more to me than you will ever know.
See, that's how you end an episode. Yeah, that's the good stuff right there. You couldn't ask for a better Season 2. Truthfully, there's not much else I can say about Season 1 and the first 7 episodes of Season 2. Just really solid storytelling. The first episode with the big dune sandworm is fantastic and might be one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars content ever made. I love the samurai episode with Ahsoka Tano. She fits perfectly into this series. The following episodes are great as well. The season gives you what you love from Season 1, but with higher stakes and more character progression. Until the final episode. It starts out about exactly how you'd expect. Our main group of characters from the entire season gathered together to complete the final mission. Stop Moff Gideon, get Baby Yoda. Simple enough. And the episode stays simple until everyone meets up at the bridge. Mando has defeated Far Cry 6 guy in a small and unsatisfying fight. The rest of the crew fought off stormtroopers and took the ship, but Din now has the dark saber. This is when the episode starts to go off the rails. Gus Fring starts vomiting exposition all over us.
The dark saber. It belongs to you. She can't take it. It doesn't work that way. It must be one. You're about to face the dark saber troopers. In order for her to wield the dark saber, you had your hands full. The story does. She would need to defeat without. Let's see how you do against a platoon. She's a pretender.
So now it looks as if the episode has shifted to a conflict between Mando and Bo-Katan. But as soon as that begins, we immediately go back to the imposing threat of the Dark Troopers. Which is fine, but at this point, I'm hoping that they address the Bo and Din conflict at the end of the episode. We'll get back to that. The Dark Troopers have taken over the rest of the ship and have started beating down the main door to the bridge. It seems like an impossible situation for our main characters. I start to get excited, wondering, how will they escape this one? Tensions are high right now between them, and I'm excited to see how they'll overcome it and win the day. Shortly after the beating starts, we see the X-Wing fly into frame. This is when the episode truly and officially goes off the rails. Instead of our main characters finding a clever way to complete the mission, we get to watch these people stand and watch a murdering psychopath slice his way through the droids with such ease that it leaves no tension for the viewer. Once we see the lightsaber ignited, in our mind we know it's over. It completely deflates everything that our main character has experienced up to this point. Sure, he gets the kid back, but all he had to do was easily defeat a guy in combat, then watch someone else do the rest of the work. I understand why people love this ending, and I wish I was one of them. I just can't help but feel a bit unsatisfied by this kind of storytelling. It seems like such a cop-out to set up this epic conclusion to a 2-season story arc and have it end with our main characters doing nothing. while a shoehorn cameo does all the work and steals all of the spotlight. If the writers insisted on having Luke in this finale, how about this? Instead of Luke doing everything on his own, he flies in, explains that he felt the Force signal that Grogu sent out, and helps our main crew take down these impossible machines. Also, there is some fun banter to be had with the tension between Bo and Din. Luke can say some charming lines about how he hopes Grogu won't be as much of a pain in the ass as the last big-eared green frog he met. Or, now hear me out, don't introduce Luke in this episode at all. At the start of next season, Mando is searching for this Jedi temple that there's been rumors about. Luke is there training the next generation of Jedi. You could even have a fun little Ben Solo cameo, because God knows that these writers love bringing back old characters for no reason at all. But I suppose this is the finale that the fans wanted.
Don't give me hope, bro.
Let's talk about Mr. Skywalker himself. He's wearing the same clothes. It's been 10 years. I really hope he washes them daily. After all of the over-choreographed fighting, he finally reveals himself to show his true monstrous CGI form. Apparently, Sebastian Stan was busy that day. His lines are said with no emotion or any charm.
Are you a Jedi?
I am. He wants your permission. He is strong with the Force. But talent without training is nothing.
He comes across as an emotionless robot. Remind you of something? None of this feels like the Luke that we know and love. What is so compelling about him in the originals is that he is vulnerable. Even in Return of the Jedi, he still has this innocent charm to him. You believe that he actually thinks he can turn Vader back to the light. Here he's just so sterile and lacks any sort of passion. Hell, Battlefront 2 did a better job of capturing his personality.
I know who you are. Why'd you help me?
Because you asked.
I've heard 100 stories about the Jedi. They terrified me as a boy on Coruscant, but you...
Come on. We need to work together if we're gonna get out of here.
I'm glad we were brought together, Del.
So what happens now? We both walk off in separate directions and pretend like this never happened.
I don't think you can. There's still conflict in you.
Of course there's conflict in me. I'm not blind. I know what the Empire is capable of, but... what else is there?
A choice?
The rebellion?
No. A choice to be better.
People can hate The Last Jedi Luke all they want, but at least he felt real. You understood why he would run away and cut himself off from the Force. His father was using his ability to rule the galaxy with this oppressive force, and his nephew that he trained went down the exact same path. Yoda explains it perfectly in the film as to why it is in Luke's nature to run and hide.
Still looking to the horizon. Here, here, now. Strength, mastery, but weakness, folly, failure also. The greatest teacher, failure is.
In the end, he does save the day. I don't like that film's ending, but he is the hero in the end. In this, he destroys the robot and takes the child. I'll take the representation of Luke with actual death. So once he's in the elevator, I'm expecting some conclusion to what happened between Bo-Katan and Mando. Not to mention what will also happen with Moff Gideon. Last time we checked, they had to fight in combat over the saber. Moff Gideon was captured, but we weren't sure what was going to happen with him and the cruiser with a full Imperial crew that he was in charge of. Instead of tying any loose ends together, we cut to credits. No conclusions or lead-ins to what will happen next. We're left with Bo has to fight Din, and I guess Gideon is a prisoner now? Did they win the day? What's happening? After Luke leaves, how is there not a scene of them all together discussing the next move? Something that will lead us into and get us excited for Season 3. Anyways, once the credits stop rolling, we see Boba take over Jabba's palace, which I guess is Bib Fortuna's palace. It's silly, and honestly, I'm into it. Sidebar, I also love the fact that they brought back Matthew Wood to play Bib Fortuna. He played him in The Phantom Menace, if anyone remembers that. I don't know. I'm weird, I guess. People probably remember that. Star Wars nerds are weird. I'm weird. I know that. So, yeah. No, I'm weird. Also, there's Fennec Shand. I guess she left the ship. Would have been nice to see that. I'm not saying that everything needed to be tied up into a neat bow, but they set up these plot lines earlier in the episode and just never addressed it again. It's reminiscent of The Rise of Skywalker when Finn told Rey that there was something he needed to tell her and it was just never mentioned again, and everyone loved that, right? So instead of not addressing anything, just have a nice reminder at the end of the episode. Bo goes up to Din and says something to the likes of, hey, you got that kid back, but we're not done here. That saber is mine and I will take it back. Then have some excuse why they can't fight and she needs to leave. Just a small reminder that there's beef and there's something to look forward to for the next season, instead of an ending that leaves the viewer with more questions than answers. Let's compare this entire mess to the final episode of Season 1. Again, they seem to be in an impossible situation, but through working together, making sacrifices, and a little bit of heroics from our main character, our heroes are able to win the day with an exciting lead-in to Season 2. That finale and the rest of the first 15 episodes are why I enjoyed this show so much. Small stories with likable characters in the Star Wars universe. What more could a guy ask for? You can tell that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau really love this series.
Spinning's a good trick.
Throwing in deep cut references throughout the show that only true hardcore fans would understand, but never actually distract the viewer.
It's gonna be great.
And that is why I was so disappointed with this finale. They know what makes Star Wars great, and to see it succumb to this level of fan service is really discouraging. I know that they are the showrunners for the 17 other limited series that will all inevitably tie in with The Mandalorian, and I am genuinely curious what they'll do with the Book of Boba Fett. I love the bounty hunter side of Star Wars. I just hope we don't get the same Fate of the Universe battle with X-Wings and TIE Fighters that we've seen a billion times already in the final season of The Mandalorian that will tie all of these series together. My God, I'm getting a headache, exhausted just thinking about this idea. That being said, the CGI on Luke is fucking awful.